I've got great news, America. The racial divisions in our country, bigotry, prejudice, at least between African Americans and Caucasians, it's over. We've solved it. We have overcome Dr. Martin Luther King's dream, his vision that we're all judged by the content of our character and not the color of our skin. It's finally come true because the NAACP is offering a travel advisory for Black Americans to not go to the state of Florida because, if I'm getting this right, because of, I don't think there is a reason. I don't have the answer. But if this is all they're worried about, I think that we're good. I think we've solved it all. Denisha Allen is the founder of Black Minds Matter, and she joins us now. Do you have any idea what they're doing here, Denisha? I'm trying to figure out what it is, and it has to do with an advanced placement African studies class or something. This is their focus. I mean, we're in good shape, right?
So the NAACP over the weekend put out a travel advisory saying that Black people should not travel to the state of Florida because Florida is promoting uh, uh, bad policies for African Americans, essentially.
Okay.
Um, and that there's, they are not promoting African Americans or the LGBTQ community, etc. And I saw this trending on Twitter over the weekend, and I thought it was quite comical, to be honest, because
Right.
Florida, especially in the case of education, is one of the few states in the country that's providing more academic advancement and higher outcomes for African American students across the country. And for school choice in Florida alone, there are more Black students participating in school choice programs than 30 other states have Black students, period. And we know that that's important because there we have studies that show, especially there's a great study by the Urban Institute saying that Black students who participated on choice programs in the state of Florida were more likely than their public school counterparts to graduate from high school, go to college, and graduate from college. So our state is not a state that is holding Black people back. If anything, we are helping to eliminate generational curses than the public school system than any other state has.
Wait, hold on, Denisha. I'm concerned. You're actually in Florida right now. Are you okay? You feel, is it all
That's
right for you to walk the streets right now?
That's right. Yeah, it's amazing. Florida is an amazing state for African Americans. And I
Yeah.
thought that it was quite interesting because the NAACP has traditionally been it's an organization that's for the advancement of African Americans. They've done
Yeah.
some amazing work in the past during the
Well,
civil rights era. However, in recent times, we've seen that the NAACP has just been in bed with the teachers union. They tend to support some policies and then not support other policies that's
yeah.
actually going to advance African Americans in this country. Even in that travel advisory that went out, if you looked at it, it says they collaborated with the teachers union to
Yep.
distribute books in communities.
Yeah.
What is going on? The teachers
Well,
union does not support African American advancement because they want to keep African American kids relegated to failing schools.
it turns like African Americans are just like every American of every race and every flavor and every constitution. They're moving to Florida because there's no taxes. There's no state taxes, at least. There's a better business client. There's opportunity, and it's just a safer place to live and a better place to live for your children to grow up in. So naturally, the NAACP does this blatantly political move. Rush Limbaugh, Denisha, used to call it the NAALCP, the L standing for liberal. But I think you might as well just make that L a D. It really is a party thing. They are a tool of the Democratic Party, and they just want to stop Ron DeSantis because they can clearly see this week he's going to be announcing for president, and they want to try to slander him.
Yep. I was on an interview earlier this morning talking about this very issue. And something that was brought out that I didn't even think about was what is the NAACP's position on Black businesses, because Florida is a tourism state. So you're basically ripping away jobs from the African Americans that are in Florida because of this travel advisory. How is
Yeah.
that going to help the current Black citizens that's living in Florida?
That's a great point.
And
They're actually hurting. They're
they're
hurting
actually
Black
hurting.
Floridians who have small businesses, who have good jobs, who are looking for tourists. And the language they used in this thing made it sound like you were visiting a terrorist country or something.
Right, right. Like they're like it's a travel advisory on a communist country, like going to a
Yeah,
third world country. What?
yeah. Like Brittany Griner was safer in Russia than she would be in Miami.
Exactly.
Or something. Better be careful when the LA Sparks are heading down to Miami. So
That's
here's the
right.
thing. We need a better organization to represent the interests of all Black Americans, not just those who align themselves with one party. That's where your organization, Black Minds Matter, comes in. And I understand you're actually coming to DC. You're going to have a summit here in Washington.
That's right. That is our organization, Black Minds Matter. We're agnostic. We want everything that's going to help that little kid succeed in life. We want to ensure that their parents have all of the resources necessary in order for them to be most successful in life. Unlike many of the other popular organizations, wink, wink, that's supposedly for the betterment of my people, they're picking and choosing which policies they're going to support, regardless of what we ourselves say that we want more of. Insert school choice. And in DC, we're going to be in DC June the 7th through the 9th in the coming weeks. We're having our second annual National Black Minds Matter Summit. We have Black school founders who are coming from across the country, ally organizations, to learn more about how to stand up and advocate for these policies in order to advance education freedom.
Yeah. And I'm a little different than some of my colleagues in the conservative media or right of center media, where I agree that representation matters. I agree that it's important for young Black boys and girls to see a politician or a leader or even an actor or an athlete who looks like them is succeed and actually extol some important ideas and virtues. So, given that, I'd love for your reaction to Senator Tim Scott's announcement yesterday that he's running for president, and specifically the values that he communicated in that announcement.
Yes, Tim Scott has been a long champion and supporter of education freedom. He's from his tax bill, his to in opportunity zones. He was the co-sponsor of the Education Freedom Scholarship Act. Even now, the bills that's before Congress now to expand school choice in this country. Tim Scott has always been about supporting his community, and that's exactly what we want to see at the federal level in a president. I hope that we have more people who, regardless of party, but do what is right by kids, do what is right by
Yeah.
parents. And Tim Scott has traditionally done that. He's been such a friend to our organization. With we've done interviews with Tim Scott. He's been such a supporter of everything that we've been
Cool.
about.
Yeah. He's a good man. I gotta ask you, we only have a minute left here, Denisha, but when a young Black woman like you actually sort of bucks the trend and you actually you criticize the NAACP, you criticize the teachers union, you sort of extol maybe a different way to go for young Black people who are looking for solutions. Is it hard on you? Do they come after you?
No, not yet. I would love to have a conversation with the Florida NAACP and the national NAACP to provide some different thoughts, to provide to urge change within the organization. We should not be just cahooting and siding with the teachers union because they give a nice fat check. That's
Yeah,
wrong. And
yeah,
everyone needs a prophet. I always go back to the Bible. David was messing around. He had someone to tell him, you need to stop doing that. And that's what we hope to offer to the NAACP, to be a critique, to be a thorn in the side until they straighten themselves out again.
yeah. I love that. Otherwise, look what happened to Goliath. You better watch yourself, NAACP. Thanks for joining us, Denisha. Always a good conversation with you. There's more to come on O'Connor tonight.